In 2 weeks.
When Dixie is not going to be happy. Greenville City Council will come to order. Please call the roll.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
White.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Ely.
Here.
Godwin.
Here.
Norris.
Here. If I get everyone to stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, everyone. It's kind of bare out there after just sitting through that planning and zoning meeting. Council members, you were emailed out the minutes. They will stand approved as emailed out unless there's someone has objection to something on it. All right. You were also emailed out the agenda. Are there anything we need to add to the agenda? If not,
Mr. President, I would like to amend tonight's agenda to add an item of new business
okay.
regarding the permitting of recreational marijuana dispensaries and cultivation.
All right, we'll add that under new business.
Yep.
Is there anything else on the agenda? If not, I'll accept.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes. Okay. Public hearing. Anyone would like to come up to the podium and speak?
A lot less people out there.
Wow. All right, moving on to administration report. Mr. Mayor.
I really don't have much to say, except I want to, given with what Mr. White just said, and also number 6 on the ordinance and resolutions, I just want to point out that the city of Troy on January the 13th prohibited the sale of recreational cannabis. City council voted 5-2 against marijuana sales in city of Troy. I think that they were going in the right direction. And we've got enough problems with drugs in the community, and I think that goes against the what the majority of the citizens of Greenville voted for, and Dark County voted for in the November 7th, 2023 election. Again, even though it passed statewide, we have to remember who we represent, and that's the city of Greenville, and not the people of Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus and Dayton and Toledo and
Great.
so that's all I'm going to mention.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Safety Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to request a public hearing be scheduled for the meeting of February 18th for water tower public input. I will have Choice One Engineering here to do a brief presentation, answer any questions of council, and also gives an opportunity for the public to speak. It's part of our requirement for our funding source.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Is that all right, Mr. Schmidt? You're going to be pro tem back then. Will that work?
Absolutely.
Second meeting in February. All right. All right. We will schedule that.
Thank you. And then I just want to make council aware that our solids handling bid that was scheduled for tomorrow has been pushed back to January 30th. Some things came up through the building permit section that we've been working through with the Dark County building regulations, and some of the contractors that we're going to bid on it asked that we give them an additional week to get some new items together. So that'll be January 30th at 2 p.m. And last but not least, I would like to, I get the first opportunity. Thanks, Mr. Baumgartner, for all your years of service, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And I think we had Park Board and city council and city council president, and I appreciate all the time you've put in, and you'll be missed and the city will miss you, but thank you very much, and I'll pass.
Hey, John, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. If you notice, we've got a certificate here, and I know you didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but I want to bring this certificate of appreciation to you for all your years of service to the Greenville City Council and to the Park Board. And I want to thank you, John. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks, everyone. And Mr. Delk, we've known each other. I think I've known you longer than you've known yourself. I remember when your mom was pregnant with you, so. Wow.
I've known of that situation.
Ryan's mom worked with my dad back in 77, 78. What year were you born?
That's pre-me.
Yeah. So, but thank you, Mr. Delk. Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, did they figure out what the deal is with Ohio and Martin?
No, we think there's a water break underneath there that's freezing, is what the engineers think, but it has not surfaced yet. So we'll see when it warms up if it goes back down or if water appears. If it was big, it'd show up. It's probably a little one, and then it's freezing underneath is the thought, and then pushing it up. That's probably why it hasn't surfaced, and that whole intersection, when it was all redone there a couple years ago, it probably has in a lot of sections 6-7 foot of gravel that the water's probably leaching through, would be our guess, but that's just guess at this point. I don't really want to dig it up unless we have to.
Right, and was there another break? What I saw.
Yeah, it was a busy week. I think we had 5 over the weekend. Water Street, I don't know the avenues. There was a major one out here in front of the city building. Water was shooting up. It was impressive. Ice skating rink, so tis the season, unfortunately.
Right.
Knock on wood, we get through the next couple days without any, because that's a miserable time for those employees.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right, move on to Mr. Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just an update, we do still have one outstanding union contract. There's been a delay because there's a slight reorganization with the street union, so they're clearing that stuff out, and we got to get that figured out before we can finalize that. And so we haven't forgot about them. We're just waiting for all the ducks to get in a row before we can move forward. And then the last thing, I also would like to thank you, President Baumgartner. It's been a pleasure working with you here, and so you will be missed. You're moving out to my old neck of the woods on 127 South, so it's where I grew up. It's a great community. Make sure you order some Petey's Pizza when you're out there.
Petey's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, I'll pass.
Thank you. City Auditor.
Well, Mr. President, John, I can't thank you enough. It's been an honor to work beside you and to be your friend. And so we will greatly miss you. We want to thank you for your service to our community from the bottom of all of our hearts here in this room. I know we will greatly miss you every morning and every day, but we thank you for all of your service and for your input and for just loving Greenville. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you.
You're still not that far away, John.
Committee reports. We have none. Moving on to ordinances, resolutions, we have 6. First one is resolution waiving utility payments by Richard Miller.
A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $715.52, plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 1324 Schweitzer Street, C15, Greenville, Ohio. This resolution waives the utility payment in the amount of $715.52 made by Richard Miller due to a water leak at 1324 Schweitzer Street, Lot 15.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, read this resolution second, third, title by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $715.52 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 1324 Schweitzer Street, C15, Greenville, Ohio. A resolution waiving payment by Richard Miller in the amount of $715.52 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 1324 Schweitzer Street, C15, Greenville, Ohio.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Moving on to the second ordinance resolutions, we have a ordinance authorizing entering into agreement to resurface 36 and 127.
An ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with ODOT for a project to resurface 36 and 127. This ordinance authorizes the mayor to enter into contract with ODOT to resurface U.S. Route 36 and U.S. Route 127.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules and give this ordinance second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with ODOT for a project to resurface 36 and 127. An ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with ODOT for a project to resurface 36 and 127.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Mr. President, just a question under section 2, Mr. Delk. The LPA agreeing to pay 100% of the cost of those features requested by the LPA, which would be us. What is that?
So basically, ODOT is doing a project on 127 paving of the bypass, but we own a section of it because it's in the city limits. Basically, the bridge, 36-571 goes under the bridge. We own that section. So basically, we're saying we'll pay for it, but they're giving us the money to pay for it.
So there's no other money?
There's no cost to us.
The way it was written, it sounded like,
So the only thing that specific language that you're indicating is if we wanted things in addition to the project, as ODOT stated, we wanted different, for instance, if there were traffic lights there and we wanted ones that were fancier than what they have, anything that we request, we have to be responsible for.
we have nothing that we intend to request or address in this.
Correct. And so they'll pay 100%
Thank
of
you.
this project.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to number 3, we have a resolution enter into contract with Choice One.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Marion Drive and Chippewa Drive water main and services. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional civil engineering services for the replacement of water main and services on Marion and Chippewa Drive.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Marion Drive and Chippewa Drive water main and services. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Marion Drive and Chippewa Drive water main and services.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just to, again, Ryan, just a question. Yep. Do we use anybody other than Choice One, or are they just our go-to?
We use them a lot, but we do use other engineering firms. Most for some things, Jones and Henry, which is out of Cincinnati. It just kind of depends on the project, but for most civil, we use Choice One.
Choice
And
One
water.
also did the water tower, right?
Yes,
Are
correct.
they doing the water plant as well?
No, that's Jones and Henry.
Okay, I just saw they were covered on the next two, and they're competitively bid on each one though, right?
No, they're a professional service, and
Okay.
And Choice One's specialty tends to be more the infrastructure side, not the facilities. Jones and Henry tends on more of the facility side.
But these are non-competitively scored,
Correct.
correct,
non-competitively placed.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy? Yes. Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the fourth one, we have a resolution entering contract with Choice One for Green Street.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Green Street and water main and services. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for the rendering of professional civil engineering services for the replacement of water main and services on Green Street.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy? Yes. Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Green Street water main and services. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with Choice One Engineering for Green Street water main and services.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion.
Question on the Green Street. So knowing that Bonanzers is doing what they're hopefully doing.
That's part of this.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just making sure we weren't going to do all that, replace the roads, and they were going to come in and tear it all up. But
No, so they need water line for what they're doing, their planned development, but it's only a 4-inch line, and we have what we call a black fire hydrant in that area, which means it's extremely low water pressure, and won't support a fire. So we need to upgrade that, and then we'll address the Bonanza planned development, and then we'll address the lead lines in that area as well when we do it.
thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy? Yes. Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to number 5, we have a resolution waiving the civil service exam fee, and this has an emergency clause.
A resolution waiving the civil service exam fees and declaring an emergency. This resolution waives the exam fee to take the civil service exam for all positions in the city, whether written or oral. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
A resolution waiving the civil service exam fees and declaring an emergency. A resolution waiving the civil service exam fees and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion.
Mr. President, just a question. Why is there an emergency clause on this one?
We have a test upcoming, and just to make clear that there's no issues, the test is scheduled within the next 30 days.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on adopting the emergency clause? Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes. Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt a resolution. Discussion.
Just getting more people to take the test. That's exactly right. So historically, we had like a I believe it was $25, Mr. Delk, $25 exam fee, and we were getting 1 or 2 people to turn up. And it seemed like when we waived the fee, we've now waived the fee, this will be our 3rd year in a row waiving the fee. I personally feel like we have had more applicants, that hasn't been a deterrent. And so, to the extent that we can get people in the door, see if they pass and move the conversation along, I do feel it's a benefit to the city.
Mr. President, the fee is like $25.
Correct.
But this one is written to be open-ended, correct?
That's correct.
So
Because
it's-
we passed it every year for the last 3 years.
Any other discussion? Do we have a motion to adopt? Okay, call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Healy?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
And just to clarify, and this kind of pertains to the next piece of legislation, if you choose to act on that too. So the waive has been put in place, but that never prevents us, if we decide that it's no longer beneficial, to bring legislation back at that point in time. It just saves us from having to do it on an annual basis,
Realistically, we'll forget about it after we pass
hopefully.
it. Just saying.
All right, moving on to number 6, an ordinance imposing a moratorium on the insurance of permits allowing recreational marijuana.
An ordinance by the City of Greenville Council imposing a moratorium on the issuance and processing of any permits allowing recreational adult use cannabis operators within the City of Greenville, Ohio. This ordinance imposes a moratorium to prohibit all recreational cannabis operations, including cultivation, processing, and dispensing within its jurisdiction under ORC 3780.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second, third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Schmidt to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
No.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
No.
Godwin?
No.
Norris?
Yes.
Norris.
Okay, that will lay over for the next meeting. That completes our ordinances and resolutions. Moving on to old business, we have none. Under new business, Mr. White had, you want to read that?
I would like to amend tonight's agenda to add an item of new business. I would like to bring forward a motion under new business to place the issue of permitting recreational marijuana dispensaries and cultivation in Greenville, Ohio to a public vote before our citizens, whereby truly allowing our citizens to have their voice heard on this issue. Sincerely, Greg White.
Okay. Anyone, do we need to act on that, or?
So in theory, you got a motion, to be discussion at this time regarding the motion. And then I would view it personally as it's a motion by Mr. White to take the necessary steps to prepare what would ever need to be taken to put it on the ballot. We can do that if there's discussion that you have about moving forward.
It'd be a motion to prepare to go to the ballot.
That's correct.
That's,
Yep.
so tonight is only basically discussion.
Unless the motion wants to get made, yeah.
I'm sorry, clarify that?
Yes, ma'am. So essentially, Mr. White has put the issue on the agenda for discussion. I believe it's the intent, and Mr. White can correct me if I'm wrong, that to make a motion to prepare things to get it ready to go to the ballot, if that is what council so votes to do. To get it on the actual ballot, we would have to prepare legislation. Obviously, that's not here this evening. And so, for me, what I would appreciate to continue to move in that direction, if that's the direction that council wants, is a confirmation that, yes, prepare the legislation. Legislation would then come at the next meeting, and then wherever that fits into the deadlines, I'm not sure exactly where we're at in terms of what election cycle it would fall into from where we're at.
My personal self, I mean, the citizens of Greenville's already voted on this. Dark County voted on it. So, it was overwhelmingly in Dark County against it, and Greenville was, I think, 52-48 against it. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this body to put it back on the ballot would be.
Couldn't agree more.
From Mr.
I watch the news every morning, and no city or town, even Troy, has banned it forever. And that's you said huh?
Well, I believe Troy's ban is indefinite, just like this.
Indefinite?
Yes.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
And this is just recreational, it's not not medical, correct?
Yes, just recreational.
And, and I've been over to Troy, or been to Piqua, and I visited both places. Miss Davis knows I've been there, and we've had numerous conversations about it. And when it was passed, they don't really know what the tax base is. Because when it was passed through the state, it was so
The tax
late.
base is this, the tax
It's 10%.
right now currently is
10%.
10%.
Yes.
And what the
They don't know what
municipality,
it is.
we don't know what the receipts are. We
No.
don't know what the
No, we
sales
don't.
are.
But the sales at one place in Piqua is $800,000 a month. The second place is
That's a lot of
$700,000.
marijuana smoking.
Yes. So you got $700,000.
Sue yourself.
All right. $700,000.
So let's remember what the people voted for.
They got two buildings that was built at $1 million
Doesn't
apiece.
matter to me.
Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah. Voters did, and they voted it down.
I would like to interject here. The voters, yes, they did vote, but it's like a couple of years ago, issue 1. It got defeated because nobody really knew what they were voting for. I'm just saying that sitting here and emails that I've received, there's a lot of concern that we're maybe not being fair to ourselves and to the community. So I think to me, it's like, just because they say yes, or maybe's not yes, or maybe's not no. I just think that, I can see merit in, I would be interested in conducting a straw poll. Maybe one of my volunteer walks needs to be walking down the street and going, now, how do you really feel about this? That's just throwing it out. But I think there's an opportunity missed. Clarence brings up a valid point. We have things that we want to do in the future. We may need to look at things, what is going to be a revenue source? Where are we going to manufacture money to do the things that we need to get done?
I can give you, for example, if in the city of Greenville, we sold $1 million worth of marijuana in a year, it would mean $36,000 of revenue to the city.
I disagree with that.
I beg to disagree. I disagree with that.
The municipality gets 0.36%.
3.6% of the 10.
Yeah, 36% of the 10% tax. That's in the statute.
So
check it out.
I guess by the same reasoning, then I should probably look at a 1% income tax as not being valid. I mean, what 1% of my income today is not worth a whole lot, but that 1% generates income for this city. So, it depends on how you look at it.
I just don't know if this body is one that would want to steer a vote to the community, if it should be someone from the outside that's, like if there's a bar that wants a Sunday liquor license, they petition the city to have that added. I just don't know if this body is the one that should be pushing something to put on the agenda for something like that. And Mr. Reedman, is that fair, or?
So,
Is there a precedent?
your comment is accurate. Typically, when things go on the ballot, it is by referendum, by citizen referendum. They collect a certain number of signatures, they submit the signatures, and it gets put on the ballot. That being said, there is a mechanism, although rarely used, that council can direct it to be put on the ballot as well. So I would say that you are correct in that the typical course of action is that signatures are gained by a member of the community, but it is not to say that it is the only course of action.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Mr. President, I'm going to try to frame why I asked for this to come forward. Number one, I think, if it was 52-48, or if it was 51-49, or if it was 60-40, it was what it was. It was close.
So if you lose a game, you can play it again?
Mr. Mayor, I'm speaking, please. I think we come into this situation with our own set of beliefs, values, and biases. And in surveying and asking people and talking about this to people, I've gotten a very split view from citizens of Greenville. And I'm going to address a couple issues here. Again, I think we have some very deep-seated biases in both directions in some places. It is legal in the state of Ohio. So that, sets a stake in the ground for a starting point. We have a drug problem in Greenville, Ohio. There's no question about that. My personal opinion is we have a drug problem without dispensaries and cultivation legal. We'll probably have a drug problem if we had dispensaries and cultivation in Greenville, Ohio. This isn't going to make it or break it. Will it make it worse? Maybe. I doubt it. I seriously, personally doubt it. But the drugs that we have are here and they're a problem. Now I'm going to step back and take a different view of the whole issue. We're really good at saying no to things. That's my observation and opinion. We're really good at saying what we can't do and what people can't do. That's my opinion. Our city is growing older in age, lower in income, lower in population as we move forward, while our spending and our costs continue to go up. This is a source of revenue. Don't know how much it is. Don't really care at this point. But I believe that we should be more, if we want Greenville to become something more than a dying bedroom community, which I love Greenville, but if we want it to be more than a dying bedroom community, we have to think a little differently sometimes. And if we put this before the people and they vote it down, then the people have spoken and our biases and our humble opinions of 8 or 9 people aren't making the call for the city. That's as simple as it gets for me, and I'm not in favor and I'm not against. But I don't think we're being good stewards of our community when we make that decision on an issue that's that close. That's why I brought this forward tonight. You don't have to agree with me. So, I've said my piece. I'll live with whatever we as a council decide to do, without a question. But I've pondered over this and I've consternated over this a lot, and I have a real problem telling people no and saying, here's something else you can't do. So, that's it. I'm done.
There was on the ballot the last time, 2 places here in the city of Greenville got Sunday liquor license that they got approved. So things change. You know, people didn't want somebody selling liquor at that place, and now they changed their mind and now it's got it. And, you know, I feel that there's 7 of us up here and there's 7 opinions. And if I'm gonna voice my opinion, that's why I'm here. You know, if people don't like it in 3 years, run against me. And I'm done.
Yep. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't think it's this body is something that we should be steering to put something on the ballot. I think that needs to come from the outside and petition and do it the correct way.
So I go back to the retirement of former council president John Burkett. And I asked him at his retirement get-together if he had any advice for a new guy. And he said, remember, you're there to legislate. We're here to make the rules, the laws, whatever the ordinances. If we're passing that to the public, why are we here? That would be my question. So.
All right, anything else?
Well, I just want to mention that, you know, we've got a city council drug awareness committee, and we're doing all these programs at the school for prevention and drug education, and yet on the other hand, we're telling people it's going to be okay to buy marijuana at a dispensary.
Yep.
No, we're going to say that it's legal. And if somebody who chooses to want
Oh,
to
well,
do that.
the thing that was passed in November of '23 allows for any municipality to prohibit it within their corporate limits.
Understand?
And given that the people in Greenville voted it down, 50.1%, 51%, 52%, that was a majority. When you win a game, you win the game. When you lose a game, you don't get to play a second game to see if you might win that one.
Okay, so let's move on. I mean, we can beat this horse all night, but.
But I think if Mr. Boyd wants, or if anybody wants to, frankly, it would be helpful for me to know if there's a motion for me to prepare the legislation to start the process for getting it on the ballot.
I would say, based on the consensus and the thought from the mayor, that in most likelihood, and the president of the council, I'd say most likely there's no need to even entertain thinking outside of the box or looking at things a little differently. And I maybe this isn't the right time, but I am going to say, Mr. Mayor, you know what? I do serve on that board, and I'm not conflicted about this subject. I am not conflicted in wanting opioids off the street. I'm not conflicted on that one. I'm not conflicted about that I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I am not conflicted.
Okay.
I will say to you that if I were doing a comparison, I know sugar is bad for me. Sugar's bad for me. Soda's bad for me. All those things are bad for me. But it is my choice to do or not do. Opioids were kind of forced upon our country because we got slap-happy doctors writing prescriptions for everything. So someone has to take a stand on that important issue. So that's where I can say to you, I'm not conflicted. I understand opioids are bad. I got that. Now, as far as marijuana, there's a whole generation that, I have nothing in common with, that think that marijuana is just fine. I can get in that cookie jar. I can do what I need to do. So I have to, as a grandmother and a great-grandmother, go, well, I think you're crazy as heck, kid, but I'm not going to convince you. You're going to have to get to that point in your life whether that you make that decision for yourself. It doesn't come from legislation. It comes from an inner thing. I know that you have great opinions, personal opinions, and I sympathize that families have gone through that. But families are going to continue to go through things. So I guess being the mouthy person that I am, in my opinion, I think you just need to go down the row and say, well, do you want that? Do you want to take on that challenge, or do you want to pass it by? I think you're asking for an opinion, right?
I was asking for.
Legislation? Okay.
Well,
So ask the question.
Yep, and so, go ahead, Leon.
I'm kind of in the same situation that President and Council is, that I think it possibly should come from an outside source.
And that makes sense. I will say that.
That being said, under the rules of council, anybody is capable of making a motion at any time. Motions under the rules don't need seconds, and then it would call a question. So if anybody feels so compelled.
I guess before we close that discussion, if we think that a marijuana dispensary is going to create marijuana in Greenville, we're probably fooling ourselves. Because those people that want it are going to get it, whether they buy it in Greenville, or buy it on the black market, or buy it in Piqua, or in Michigan, or wherever. It's here. And if we operate under the premise that not having a dispensary will make us not have it, we're fooling ourselves.
My main point is the signal, the message we give as a council to the students of our schools that are being told not to use drugs and not to smoke marijuana, and yet we're saying it's okay.
Well, and it's not legal, it's not.
I'm not fooling myself to think we don't have a problem.
They shouldn't be drinking beer, but we sell beer. They shouldn't be drinking alcohol, but we sell alcohol. We tell them not to drink alcohol, but
There's laws that prohibit it at a certain age.
yes, same way with this. That's my whole point. You just made my point, Mr. Mayor. I have biases the same as you do, maybe in a different way. There are some of us that grew up in alcohol-related environments and went through major problems with people with alcohol. That makes some of us not want alcohol. But we tell our kids what the rules are. The rules, it's legal. It's legal to have, it's legal to use. And if we think that saying, we don't want a dispensary because we want them to keep thinking it's not legal to use, it's not good to use, they're saying, what the hell's wrong with you people? That's my slanted view.
Matter is, as mayor, I get to pass along my vision, and as a city council, as a separate entity, you get to vote on whatever you want to vote on.
Yep.
And there may be consequences to that.
Okay. So does anyone want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to make the legislation to bring this forward.
Okay. Discussion on that. Call the roll.
Rogers?
No.
Schmidt?
No.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
No.
Ely?
Don't suppose I can abstain, can I?
Unless you, because you have a dispensary.
Oh, gone. I knew I should have brought that to a higher, yeah. I'm gonna say no, no, but I still have an opinion, okay.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
No. All right, motion failed. All right, moving on,
I don't get it.
council representing outside committee. Could not have made my night complete without hearing Dolores.
Oh, yeah, I am sure you are just loving this report.
Dolores, I'm serious, because I know you put a lot of heart
I
in it.
do put a lot of
and
effort in it.
You are probably the most dedicated person here on council to do that, so thank you.
Well, I'm just going to do this just for you, John. I had told Jessica that I gave her the report and said you can summarize it. But now, I guess I'll just officially read it into the record. Do you mind?
No.
Okay. I'm reporting on Council of Aging. Dark County Senior Outreach has become the working arm of the Catholic Services, which have headed up the Council of Aging group that meets within Dark County. Okay. Currently, Dark County Senior Outreach is working with a group of very dedicated individuals who want to see a permanent and freestanding structure built, rented, or for use, donated to become a designated senior citizen center. This group operates under the name Dark County Seniors. This group meets on a regular basis and also attends the meetings of the Dark County Senior Outreach Board. The Dark County Senior Outreach works with the Council on Aging, and we still meet with them on a quarterly basis, and they are lending support to both groups to make this a successful entity in our community. I didn't add that, Jessica, but I have attended both board meetings and also participate in some of the Dark County senior activities. The most recent was a free luncheon program. This event was very successful, with a wide assortment of soups provided for tasting. Approximately 40 people attended this event. The upcoming event is another upcoming event is a bread making class, and that's being taught by a local citizen, Kay Jones. Everyone participating receives a starter, recipes, and a loaf of bread for a very low fee of $5. That event's scheduled February 13th at Birchwood on Jaysville St. John's Road. Space is limited. Reservations needed by February 6th. Okay. There will also be a Valentine's Senior Dance on February 14th at 6 p.m. with a local DJ. Admission is free. However, there will be a donation jar on display asking for community support. And this one, check out the article that appeared in last week's Early Bird. See this? This, I thank Mr. Ryan for this. I know that he was given this information, but it had a prominent place in the Early Bird. And for that, I thank you, Mr. Berry, for that. And I think that this is a way that senior citizens here, because if you take 1 minute and go to a senior citizen event in this community, you will realize that they're a group just like the people that go to Boys and Girls Club, the people who go to Bible studies. This is ad lib, sorry. They are people who want a place to be with like-minded people. And so I do want to thank Lineberry and the company for allowing this group to be featured in their paper. And Mr. Baumgartner, that was just for you.
Thank you. All right, communications.
We received the monthly reports of December from the Street Department and Income Tax Department, the 2024 annual report from the Police Department, and the fourth quarter report of 2024 from the Fire Department.
Okay, moving on to call council.
Rogers?
Yes, I'm not sure who's in charge of the weather. I'd like to see the thermostat turned up a little bit. But anyway, with that, I pass. I passed.
Schmidt?
I do have two things. One, we're going to need to set a meeting, or you set, on your end for the budget. Yeah,
For the
so, yeah,
Is that what?
you want to do committee of the whole? So we need to set that.
Yep, when you want to set it?
I am open in most evenings, but,
The 4th and 18th are the next two meetings in February.
right, and we're gonna probably have to have it on a separate night would be my guess.
Okay.
So, I don't know if anyone has a preference or what.
This never goes.
This never works, but
What does,
Tuesdays work good. Does the
Tuesdays
third
work?
Tuesday?
Yeah. Yeah, next,
Or the
that-
second Tuesday, and try to find the one in between.
like the 28th or the
28th, or no? Is that
28th,
possible?
I wouldn't, yeah, I can't be here.
Going down.
Okay, the 11th of February is the second Tuesday, or the 25th of February is the fourth Tuesday.
Girl Scout Cookie Day, February 11th.
Ooh, Girl Scout.
Like you can get all your cookies. The 11th,
February
going once,
11th?
going twice.
Does the 11th work for everybody?
I'm good for the
Can we
11th.
start
Yeah,
it
we'll-
earlier?
Can we look-
Can we start it earlier than 7:30?
That'd
Can we
be
go at
great.
6,
6-ish,
6:30?
Leon?
What's
On
everybody's
a Tuesday?
consensus?
Yeah, I probably could do earlier.
I can do 6:30.
Probably that would
Better
work
than
for me.
7:30.
6:30 on the 11th. Is anyone
Everybody okay?
anyone oppose that? Nope. Dolores?
Dolores is looking.
I'm looking, but I'll move it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a party of one.
All right.
What time on the 11th?
6:30.
6:30?
I'm a party of one.
All right, thank you for that.
So with that, can I still speak at this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so with that, I don't want to bother anybody. I will get the budget prepared and all the paperwork prepared to get, and let you guys know. You can pick it up, or we can give it to you at the next meeting, whichever you would prefer. But we will get that ready this week.
This week.
All right, that takes
That's
care
just
of
the
that
only
one.
budget meeting. Is that what this is?
I got one more thing. I want to thank you, man. Been up here for quite a few years together, and we're gonna miss you, man, but wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, I'll pass.
Wait,
Thank everybody for being here tonight and for the lively discussion. It's good even when it's bad, is the way I look at it. John, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And with that, I'm warming it up outside.
Brown?
Echo, good luck to you, John. Thanks for 3 years. I don't know that I learned enough, but keep trying. Thank everybody for coming. And good luck to the water mains. I'll pass.
Ely? Okay, I would be remiss. Thank you, John, for the experience of being on council with you. Not long-term, but we've had some good discussions. I appreciate your openness to answer questions, to make me get through the guide work of the council meetings. Still don't have that down pat, but I'm working on it, okay? But thank you, and I wish you well for all the things that are to come ahead for the council. just a word. You just need to be a little open and just not be so quick to say, do this, do this, do this. Discussion is good. And with that, I pass.
Godwin,
Pass.
Norris, President Baumgartner.
Thanks. I said, oh gosh, he's going to pass. I can't believe it. I can't pass, Jess, sorry. Thanks, everybody, for coming here, especially the press to represent. Chief, I'm glad you snuck back in. That's great.
Too bad.
Appreciate your end-of-the-year report or quarterly report. And kudos to the fire department because I read in there the amount of carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors that they installed or gave to people that didn't have them, batteries they replaced when they were out on calls, and people said their smoke detectors were not functioning, and you guys put the batteries in there, you keep them on the truck. So kudos. I mean, that's a good public service that we do from our departments. And Chief, is there anything we can do to help on the reporting? I noticed there was a couple spots in there where the issues with the reporting, is that a software issue or anything we need to address, or?
That's resolving itself. We went to a new software on January 1st. So
Oh, excellent.
it just went live.
Excellent.
Give us a little bit of time.
But I thought with,
to do what we wanted to do.
thank you, yeah, with the state reporting to the fire marshal's office and our ISO stuff, classifications come in there, it's like, okay, we don't want to let that hinder that whatsoever. And last thing, we're 24 months out on our truck, in that 32, 34-month delivery time. What's the update on that, Chief? Don't have one?
Cancel it as order.
Same information you do. You're in the right time frame.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I wanted to make sure at least we were on track on that, that build.
We'll try to have an answer for you in the next council meeting. More so.
Okay, yeah, very good, thank you. Thanks to all of the departments that are out there, the police department, the fire, wastewater, water department, street department out there freezing to death, getting the job done, and we definitely appreciate it because it is cold out there. Lastly, can I have a motion to excuse the absences for the month of January?
Motion to excuse the absence. Discussion. Call the roll.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
If I'd known that, I'd have took off.
Pass, yeah. And John, thank you very much. Thanks for coming, John. I wanted to give you that certificate myself.
President Baumgartner.
Yep, so I thought about this over the last few weeks and what I wanted to say, so I'll give a few charges, I guess, and just some stuff that we've done over the years, and I just want to make sure we continue doing it. So I'll charge council, right? The sidewalk thing is a big deal. I think we've got to make sure we continue doing that. I know sometimes with funding and stuff, we're financially tight, but just make sure we continue doing that sidewalk project because the city in 5-10 years from now is going to look so much different when we have sidewalks everywhere. Just the 3 years that we've done it, is it third year? Yeah. Phase 3 is this year. Yeah, phase 3 has made such a huge difference. The other thing I want to charge council with is zoning enforcement, right? So we have a part-time zoning enforcement. I know we're making some strides. If it was up to me, we would probably hire 2 zoning enforcements because for the most part on this council, we have Dolores and Leon and Chris that kind of live in the old section. The rest of you live in the old or the new section where you don't see the stuff that I see where currently live and we're used to. So please make sure we continue doing the zoning enforcement. It's so important. And then the last thing I will say to council is trust your administration, trust but verify. We have some serious talent looking here. You know, Ryan's been with the city 20, how many years? 26 years. The mayor's been mayor for 1 year, but has past experience on council plus other stuff where he lived prior. Mike's been law director for how many years?
Good question. 5.
5, and you handle some other communities and very wealth of knowledge. And then Kim, who has close to 32 years.
Wow.
So my charge to council members, trust but verify, right? And then to the administration, right? Support council, we've always had a great working relationship, almost 20 years that I've been on council and park board and council president. We just need to continue that line of communication and continue on. So I'm only moving like 3 miles south of town, so I'm not going away, right?
Where's the barbecue?
Yeah, I love if anyone knows me, I've got a bunch of downtown property. I love downtown. I love developing the buildings. We have a few businesses in town, so I'm not going away, right? I'll probably be
on the wrong side of the podium.
yeah, I'll be the one over there
Yeah, on the audience.
complaining, right? But, yeah, I think Kim mentioned, I bleed green, all my kids graduated, well, I got one not graduated yet, but, I'm a proud Green Wave, and I 100% support Greenville schools. If you go to the gymnasium, you can see all the support or the football field. I'm a big supporter. So I'm not going away. I'm just can't serve on council anymore because I moved 3 miles south of town. So, but I would just like to thank everyone, and it was a tough decision. But it's really quiet and peaceful out there. It's different. But with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adjourn. Call the roll.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.